Hi everyone, and welcome to the Leo Weekly Tarot Bite reading for the week of June 19th through the 25th. So hi everyone and welcome. I hope you are all having a wonderful week so far. This is I Am Illuminated Tarot reading for soul illumination. I'm Lauren. Hi and welcome. Now this reading is meant to take a look at the themes that came up in the general collective reading that was posted on Sunday, which were themes around the energy of receptivity, opening ourselves up to support and loved ones who want to come in for us at this time. It was also about identifying and releasing a heavy burden we've been carrying for some time that it's time for us to let go of so that we can get back on track towards really pursuing a dream that is more in alignment with the new version of ourselves that's emerging this month. Now, that burden can be physical. It can also be emotional or mental. So this is really about taking a look here. We're going to see for your sign, Leo, where is that burden that needs to be put down? What's the general theme around that? Okay, so we have one card that popped out here. We have the second shark. If I can talk, second chakra, which is Archangel Ariel, number 36, breaking down to the number 9 in numerology. And the number 9 really speaks to getting to the closeout of a cycle. There's magic in the number 9 just in general, but it really does speak to when we kind of have learned all the lessons we need to learn in a cycle, and we now get to really kind of, as we move into the new cycle, level up by bringing forward all of these things we've learned. It's like kind of carrying forward a magic bag with us into the next cycle. And with the second chakra speaks to our sacral chakra, which is where the birth of kind of our creative self comes from. I personally see the sacral chakra associated with the number 8, with the color orange. So there's a sense that for ourselves, for us to really lead from a place of empowerment, that we really have to lean into our own creativity, what we uniquely as us, as our individual self, can give birth to in this world. Be that a creative project, be that a physical being, like you giving birth to a child, be that giving birth to the energy of love in a community. There's something here around really tapping in this week, Leo, to understanding maybe where there's been a burden around your creativity, meaning that either you felt blocked from being able to be creative, or you felt blocked from really being able to express from that place of what you uniquely bring to every situation. Now, this is different from the solar plexus chakra, which Leos tend to work a lot with because that really harnesses the energy of the sun and the ego and the self, which is what you are all kind of based around. But this is almost like going lower. It's like before we can get to that healthy sense of ego again, that healthy sense of self, we also have to understand what we are here to uniquely create, what we are here to uniquely put out into the world and then to nurture and foster. And there's something around that this week that I think you're going to realize that there's been a burden that you've carried along for some time around that, and maybe now it's time to kind of open yourself up to how this new version of yourself that's emerging this month really needs to embrace that creative self, that unique part of yourself. And how can you really bring, with the number 9 coming in there, how can you really bring kind of all the lessons you've learned up to this point, and kind of, it's almost like mixing all the best parts of yourself through all the lessons, all the trials, all the tribulations, and how can you see now how something can be formed from that? Really interesting, Leo. Very different from the other 2 readings I just did. So let's go ahead here and see what wants to come through. I would say for many of you, I would ask, what do you want to see more of in your life? Where do you feel maybe you need more support to pursue it? Now, this could be like saying, I really want to find a creative hobby, and I don't feel like I've had that for some time. I really want to find a community, and I haven't had that. I really want to just create from a just a straight place of creativity. I want to paint. I want to write. I want to, dance under the moon, whatever it is. So there's something here around really understanding, what do you need more of? What would you like to what would you like to see more of in your life? And how can you have the power to create the start of that? Like if you say, I want to be surrounded by more beauty in your life. Well, from your own creativity, how can you start to bring beauty into your life? It's kind of that thing. So the first card that came out here for the clarifiers was the Nine of Swords. This is a card of anxiety. It's worry. It's overthinking. It's a card where we're just being kept up by those kind of negative what if thoughts that pop up in the middle of the night, where we like, do we do everything? Do we forget something? It's also a reminder, though, that those are just thoughts. It's also something, too, that we can't, there's this feeling sometimes that comes up with this card for me of like trying to anticipate every problem, every snag that might come up, and trying to like make sure that you have it handled. And you know what, Leo, that's just not possible, right? But there could also be some worry coming in around a part of yourself that may be emerging. When we start to get back in touch with our creative self. And I know this from personal experience because I spent a good chunk of my time in my 20s and early 30s completely disconnected from my own creativity. Really not, and through that, losing complete touch with the self, because we really do understand ourselves when we understand what we are here to create. Whether that is, again, just creating more love in our life, more beauty in our life, more connection, more artwork, whatever it is. There's something here that when we forget that we are here to uniquely create something and put it out into the world, we again lose sight of ourselves, because then we just become another just kind of bee in the hive or another ant in the in the anthill, and we don't realize our own importance. And there could be some worry about maybe that loss of the self. There could be some fear. Maybe it's starting to kind of come up within you, and you're like, I really want to do something different. But yet there's this anxiety of like, but I have to work so much. And if I pull myself away from work, then what's going to happen if I want to pull time away to stop working so many hours and start painting? or I really want to become part of the community. And, how am I going to do that when I don't even know anybody yet? It's like one of those kinds of things. And then you get down the rabbit hole of like, well, what if I do try to start a community group and no one comes or no one responds, or, and then it's like, no. It's time to just start to honor like what's kind of bubbling up inside you that wants to be expressed. Now, what came out here, we have 3 of Wands and we have the 7 of Wands in reverse. Now, I don't put reversals in my deck, so when the reversals do come out, I do honor that message, because that's a very pointed message from Spirit at that point. 3 of Wands. 3 of Wands speaks to kind of waiting for your ships to come in, looking outward towards the horizon, and really kind of looking at, okay, I put effort towards something, what's going to come in for me? But with the 7 of Wands in reverse and the 7 of Wands right side up, that's a card of kind of defending where you've chosen to take action. It's a card of saying, no, I'm going to stand my ground and I'm going to keep doing it this way. When it's in reverse, I feel like for many of you, it's time to kind of put down that defensive stance around maybe something that wants to come in for you, which is interesting. That's really what I'm feeling here. There's a feeling of maybe overthinking something, or thinking, sorry guys, I'm trying to get this back into, I don't know why it's not focusing again. Here we go. There we go. Something around maybe an opportunity is trying to come in for you. And you're like, no, I trying to overthink it in some capacity. This could be where it's time to stop. It's almost like trying to open yourself up to the opportunities. You've put effort towards something. I get the feeling, Leo, you've put a lot of effort towards something, and that maybe now is the time when it's almost like the universe is trying to give you the benefits of what you've been working hard towards, what you've been, putting, your time and energy and effort into. But then there's this element of maybe up to this point, you've been defending something. Like it has to come in and look this way. That ship has to be carrying exactly X, Y, and Z. Or it could just be that you're simply not wanting to even like, for some of you, there's almost this feeling I get of like a block of like, nothing's coming in for me, nothing's happening for me. And it's like, if you can just put down the defensive quality towards whatever wants to come in for you this week, if you can put that aside, because this is almost like you're saying like, no, I made my choice. I took the action. This is what was supposed to come in. And so, well, I just got to keep defending it. And this is saying, but this week you have a chance to put that down, to not take that defensive stance, and to maybe take a step back and be like, wait a second, I'm going to come to the edge, and I'm going to look out at that horizon, and I'm going to see that there is something coming in for me, and I'm going to get into that state of anticipation of what that new opportunity might be. Because I have a feeling that new opportunity is going to be in alignment with something right now that is starting to call to you. Something that is starting to, again, kind of, when we think of our sacral chakra, that really speaks to kind of that lower belly area for ourselves. And it's like almost like when you start to kind of feel in your gut that there's like that intuitive nudge of like, but I really want to do that, or that really would seem fun, or I'd love to see more of that in my community or in my home life. And it's like, well, then just let it come in. Let it come in to see how that can affect you. I feel like your burden here specifically is kind of opening yourself up again, Leo. Like, I feel like many of you kind of closed yourself off. And this is saying it's time to kind of open yourself up. Get out of your head. Feel the fire in your belly. You are a fire sign, and it's time to really start to express from that place and start to be curious as to, if you do start to express from that place and you put down the defensive, the defensive quality of like, no, I have to do it this way. No, I can't show myself. I took the higher ground at some point because this was the right way to do it or whatever. And it's saying, it's almost like let go of your attachment to results. That's really what's coming through here, is let go of your attachment to results and just start embracing your creativity. I think the worry and the anxiety and the burden is your attachment to results, is to how maybe you always wanted to be seen or felt you had to be seen. And maybe now part of yourself is kind of bubbling up and you're like, that goes against how I always said I had to be, or how I said everybody else had to be. And it's like, just follow the nudge. Just follow the nudge and put down the burden of whatever's holding you back from opening up to new possibilities. This is that week. Surrender your attachment to results, because creativity always leads to what's in our highest potential for ourselves. And it always leads to a place that feels emotionally connected. And that's where we get into those feelings of joy and happiness and peace and fulfillment. So lean into your creativity. All right, Leo. For anyone who would like to book a personal reading, you can click on the link in the description box below to visit my website to see a list of the services that I offer. Otherwise, I will see you all in next week's weekly Tarot Bite reading. If you'd like to look at your full expanded tarot scope for the month of June, those are up on my channel, and I will be releasing July's starting the last week of June. Obviously, likes and new subscribers are so appreciated. And if you want to comment, I invite you to do so. All right. Have a great week, Leo. Bye.